We have the latest and greatest installment in a long, long saga at this point of WorldCoin, a nominally crypto project founded by Sam Altman of Y Combinator. It does not have a token that actually exists yet, but it does have an orb, and that's the real key here. The orb that is being used to go around the world and gather biometric data from people who are being promised about $20 worth of this coin that doesn't exist yet in order to give up biometric information that once compromised would essentially destroy their lives. So that's the situation. And I have been very critical of this project. Biometric data pretty much should not be used in this way. But WorldCoin seems very dedicated to the idea that they need to actually have real world identities and biometric information in order to distribute their universal basic income. But this new report from BuzzFeed hones in on a lot of issues with the actual rollout of this, including labor issues with the people operating the orbs. The most interesting thing, I think, which I believe BuzzFeed is sort of connecting some dots, but what they argue is that the real product here is the orb itself and not the coin. Which I think is really plausible. There are some statements from people at the company saying we have a major problem with establishing real world identities online, and this is the only solution we found. That begs the question, exactly who has the authority and why do we have a need to establish these real world identities online? But WorldCoin has appointed itself the master of online identities, and they're going to use the orb to do it. So, Zach, you want to jump in?
I'll jump in. You got to have something, right? We've all been in crypto. People will spam. They will go to great lengths. They will do the dumbest shit possible to make sure that they get more free money, right? So the problem here, I think, is underappreciated, right? If it's free money out there, you would be surprised what people will do to go to get that free money. So there needs to be some sort of verification process, whether that's WorldCoin, Deskcoin at Austin and Consensus, or others. There needs to be a prevention for people to spam the system so that they're not getting multiple accounts, right? So, I think the crypto media maybe understands that problem case a little bit better than the mainstream media would in this. That's not to say that it's not super easy and fun to dunk on the orb. I'm guilty of it myself. The orb is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And it is really, really funny that they're going around the world with this UBI crypto project and scanning people's eyeballs. That is funny. But within crypto, people go to great lengths to get free coins. It's just what happens. And there needs to be some sort of verification process, or else the whole system is just going to be flooded with spams, bots, all sorts of shenanigans. So anyway, I'm going to pass it down to Sandaly. I saw her hand up on this one.
Thanks, Zach. I saw Jen's hand as well, so I'm going to... Do you want to go first, Jen? Or
you go first.
Right.
I'll take it after.
I just loved this article because, in particular, it highlights the kind of human side of all of this, taking a step away from security, tech, and business implications. I think one thing to be aware of is that crypto is believed to be something that could help faster transactions, cross-border payments, and most importantly, financial inclusion. So there are so many crypto startups that go into developing countries around the world to test these new applications and solutions, saying that these things are going to change people's lives. So, people can be easily convinced, if there's money involved, hey, do you want to try this out? And I think targeting these vulnerable communities is a little bit of a nasty thing that happens in the tech world. These companies have big slogans like "We want to connect the world," "We want to bring internet to villages and struggling communities," "We want to empower marginalized communities." But at the end of the day, when things don't go according to plan, as the article strongly points out, the people that end up kind of paying the most for all of these blunders are the people that these applications say they want to help. And I think that was like the strong message of the article. I think the quote that it ends with was really, really strong. It said, what we are bound to lose is a lifetime thing by an orb operator. And, saying that the executives don't carry the same burden. I don't know. David, is that, are you wearing a hat?
You look like a Hershey's Kiss. I'm not going to lie.
I got lost in my
suddenly
it's not really scanning. I'm wearing a tinfoil hat.
I really wow. Okay, that's the orb.
Let Jen jump in, and then I'll get to the tinfoil hat.
Okay, then you can get to
no,
the
I'm just wearing a tinfoil hat.
Absorbed.
Suddenly, I completely agree with you. I also zeroed in on the human aspect here. And I get that we want to innovate, and I get the idea behind the orb, and I understand, Zach, everything you were saying. But at the end of the day, there are people here who maybe aren't being given all of the information to make the right decision in this kind of research and development phase. And when we first talked about this story, we said, are people going to physically take these huge orbs to like the most remote parts of Africa and start scanning eyeballs? And they took it to a mall in Africa. So they came pretty close. And we hear about those stories of the people on the mall in Africa who were told, you'll get this free t-shirt and a $20 voucher to claim for our token. And they were told that the token could increase up to 500%. That is a large percent to tell people who see $20, who maybe make $20 a day or longer. I don't know what the minimum wage is or what African country they were in, but that's a lot of money. And to be promised that kind of increase to give away something as valuable as your biometric data and then receive no communication, I can understand why these people are upset. Then we have the orb operators. I don't know the exact model that the orb operators are operating on, but it sounds kind of like the early days of Uber. Anyone can be an operator.
Right, it's an Uber
you get
thing.
some kind,
exactly.
You get some kind of basic
They're
training, and then you take it to
entrepreneurs.
all these. Right, and the model keeps changing. They themselves have had issues with payment, and how are they actually trained on maintaining the data? Maybe that actually has nothing to do with them. Maybe it's all automated. But I can understand the human element. I understand that people maybe don't understand what they are participating in. And there was, I know we need to move on. I'm on a little bit of a tangent here. There was a specific piece of information in that article that WorldCoin is actually keeping all of the data. They're using it to train algorithms. And then they promise that this data will be anonymized and deleted later. Are we just to accept that promise that the data will be deleted later and it won't be it won't be stolen in some hack before it's deleted? It's just there are so many things here.
It doesn't have to be
sound
stolen.
Alarm bells. Okay, I'm going to pass it up to the tin hat.
We're going to go a little long because I have to explain the tinfoil hat. And the tinfoil hat is going to be explained by 3 words: third-party doctrine. And the third-party doctrine is a way that the U.S. government can access information about individuals that has been collected by private companies. That information would be illegal if the U.S. government collected it directly itself. Now, WorldCoin is a PR disaster, I don't think is an understatement. Sam Altman, this formerly respected guy from Y Combinator, seems to be absolutely gleefully torching his reputation by pursuing this project against really loud public opposition from people who are concerned about privacy, including, figures like Edward Snowden. Now, one explanation for this, and it's the tinfoil hat, it's Alex Jones time. This creates a huge vector of potentially valuable information for the US government, which could have access to it if they're just saying, we're going to delete it at some future point. The US government can buy this information from WorldCoin, theoretically. They can get it some way or another. I mean, if they want to subpoena it, if they decide they need to. Let's say somebody in a third world country steps up to the orb and they happen to be a suspect in a terrorism case or a money laundering case abroad. So these are all real risks. If you see the orb, walk away. And the U.S. government, let's say, has some interest in pursuing this project and seeing it through to the end. And I'll take off the hat now.